Have you ever encountered the idea of the right person showing up at the wrong time? When this occurs, when a connection that feels destined and profound arrives at what seems like the worst possible moment, many people fall into despair, believing they've missed their only chance at true love. But there's an essential truth you need to understand. The timing that feels wrong might actually be the perfect timing for something far greater than you can see right now. If this video has reached you, chances are you've already experienced that recognition that defies logic, the unmistakable certainty that you've met someone who isn't just remarkable, but who touches layers of your soul you didn't even know existed. Yet, despite this connection, everything around it seems to work against you. Perhaps one of you is in a different relationship, living in another city, or navigating life phases that clash entirely. Maybe you're ready to commit while they are still exploring who they are. Or the opposite may be true. You crave freedom just when you've found someone you could share something deep with. This stark conflict between your feelings and your circumstances can feel devastating, leaving you questioning whether you truly understood the signs of the universe, or if you're merely romanticizing an impossible connection. Today, I'll share the 5 definitive signs that you've met the right person at the wrong time. More importantly, I'll explain how this challenging timing might actually be preparing you both to meet in the right way when the moment is right. Stay until the end, and you'll also learn the most critical mistake people make when they recognize these signs. If you're ready to explore profound truths about soul connections that transcend ordinary timing, consider supporting this work by clicking the thanks button below. Your contribution helps me continue sharing content that guides souls like yours through the complex mysteries of human relationships. Carl Jung's depth psychology teaches us that the collective unconscious operates with wisdom far beyond our rational understanding of time and space. When two souls make a contract before incarnation, that agreement isn't necessarily about being together easily or immediately. Often, it's about awakening each other at specific points in their individual journeys, even if those journeys aren't yet aligned for a permanent union. It's as if the universe is saying you need to recognize each other now to unlock certain frequencies of growth within each of you. Yet, this union can only occur after both of you complete specific personal transformations, ones that must be achieved individually. As I often remind you here on the channel, for twin flames to unite consciously and healthily, each soul must first become whole on its own. Only then can you merge from a place of abundance rather than need. With this in mind, I created the ebook 21 Days of Transformation with Carl Jung and the Soul Survival Manual. These resources are designed to guide you in becoming complete independently, developing the inner strength to love without dependency, and transforming the pain of separation into fuel for personal evolution. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video if you're ready to explore this process of individuation. The bigger challenge is that the concept of individuation contradicts almost everything our culture teaches about love. Society conditions us to believe that finding the right person makes everything effortless, obstacles vanish, circumstances align perfectly, and timing works in your favor. The reality of twin flame connections is far more complex. In fact, the deeper and more authentic the connection, the more likely it will arrive at a moment that tests your beliefs about destiny, worthiness, and how love should function. Souls who form deep contracts aren't here to make life easy. They're here to catalyze evolutions that neither could achieve alone or through superficial relationships. One of the clearest signs you've met the right person at the wrong time is that the more correct the connection feels, the more impossible it becomes. This mechanism pushes both souls to distinguish between desire and evolutionary necessity. Every fiber of your being senses that this person is unlike anyone you've ever known. The bond is intense, profound, almost telepathic. You understand each other without words, recognize patterns in one another that no one else notices, and feel an attraction that transcends the physical or emotional, reaching spiritual layers you never knew existed. Yet, the deeper you acknowledge this truth, the more external reality places seemingly insurmountable barriers in your path. Perhaps they are married, and you're aware that you don't want to be responsible for breaking up a family. It's possible that you live in different countries, making it impossible for either of you to leave your lives behind just to be together. There might be a large age gap that invites social scrutiny. Or you could be at completely different stages of life, one seeking stability and family, the other needing freedom to explore their identity. This growing sense of impossibility isn't random. It's the universe applying psychological pressure, pushing you to answer a question you might never face if everything were easy. Do you love this person enough to let them go? If that's the greatest act of love you can offer right now. Many people misunderstand timing in twin flame connections. Sometimes, the ultimate test isn't whether you can stay together despite obstacles, but whether you can love each other enough to avoid forcing a union that could harm one or both of you. True soul-level love recognizes that some things are more important than immediate satisfaction. You start to realize that they may need to experience certain lessons alone, grow aspects of themselves that can only develop without your presence. And perhaps you need the same. Parts of who you are meant to become can only emerge in their absence, in the enforced solitude created by knowing they exist but aren't available. This impossibility also serves another crucial purpose. It eliminates superficial motives. When relationships are easy and convenient, it's hard to know if you're together out of genuine love or simply comfort, security or social acceptance. But when every factor works against you, when sustaining the connection requires real sacrifice and painful renunciation, and yet your feelings remain, then you know it's real. It surpasses convenience, need, even logic. This painful certainty is a gift. You'll carry it for the rest of your life, whether or not you end up together. You'll know you've experienced something real, something most people search for their entire lives but never find. The second sign is even more perplexing, and many misinterpret it in real time. You begin to grow and transform at an astonishing pace. You notice they are doing the same, yet it feels like you're moving in opposite directions. Before meeting them, your life followed a predictable rhythm. You understood who you were, what you wanted, and where you were headed. But their appearance, even if contact is minimal or absent, triggers an internal acceleration. Suddenly, you question long-held beliefs, make bold lifestyle changes, and uncover dormant passions and talents. Their presence, even at a distance, activates an internal evolution code ready for this precise moment. Here's where confusion arises. While you evolve in one direction, they evolve in another, seemingly widening the gap between you. Perhaps you're becoming more spiritual while they focus on career and material success, or vice versa. Maybe you're conquering external challenges while they dive deep into internal self-discovery. Rapid transformation may appear to increase incompatibility in the short term. This often leads people to mistakenly think they aren't twin flames, reasoning that if they were truly destined for each other, they'd evolve together in harmony. In truth, the opposite is usually the case. When two souls are true twin flames but the timing is wrong, they must undergo specific individual evolutions before they can consciously unite. And on the surface, these evolutions may seem opposed because each soul is developing precisely what they most need to grow. If someone is strongly masculine in their energy, they need to cultivate their feminine side. If you are highly emotional, you need to develop rational thinking. If one person is extremely independent, they must learn vulnerability and meaningful connection. If you are overly dependent, you need to build autonomy and inner resilience. During the phase when each person is developing these complementary qualities, you naturally begin moving in directions that appear different from one another. One may be learning to become firmer and more assertive, while the other is learning to become more sensitive and open. One may be exploring sexual freedom, while the other is discovering conscious celibacy and the practice of transforming energy. These seemingly opposite paths do not signal true incompatibility. Instead, they show that each of you is becoming more whole, more balanced, and more capable of eventually meeting as complete individuals rather than as two incomplete people searching for fulfillment in one another. The timing feels wrong because neither of you has yet become the version of yourself required to sustain a conscious, healthy union. The universe, in its broader intelligence, is using the current impossibility of being together as a catalyst to push these personal changes that are necessary for a stable future connection. If you remain together in your unfinished states, you would likely create a dependent or harmful dynamic that could permanently damage the bond. But if each person becomes whole first, if each develops the aspects of personality that were previously neglected, then when you eventually come together again, it will feel like two complete individuals deliberately choosing to build something meaningful, rather than two needy people trying to fill internal gaps through each other. The third sign is often the most painful, and it is where many people lose hope entirely. You begin to notice an unusual ability to sense when they are thinking about you or experiencing significant moments, yet at the same time, you feel that they are constructing a life that does not include you. This intuitive or energetic awareness does not weaken with time or distance. In many cases, it becomes stronger. You may suddenly wake in the middle of the night with a powerful feeling that they need you, only to later learn that it coincided with a difficult situation they were facing. You can sense when they are happy, when they are uncertain, and when they have made major decisions. It feels as though there is a direct channel between your inner worlds, constantly sharing information regardless of circumstances or conscious intention. This energetic bond could feel reassuring and profound if it were not paired with the painful awareness that they are actively moving forward without you. You sense when they begin forming connections with others, when they commit to paths that take them further away, and when they make choices that reduce the likelihood of reunion. This harsh contrast between an ongoing energetic connection and increasing separation in the physical world leaves most people deeply confused and emotionally unsettled. How is it possible to feel deeply connected to someone on subtle levels, even while they clearly move forward without you? The answer lies in understanding that reality operates on multiple layers simultaneously. At the soul level, you remain strongly connected because the contract between you is genuine and eternal. This contract exists in a dimension beyond time, space, and material circumstances. Yet at the level of human personality and everyday life, people must make practical choices, deciding how to live, who to bond with, and what path to follow. These choices may differ entirely from what the soul contract would eventually bring about if the conditions were ideal. They might marry someone else, have children, pursue a career in another country, or create a life that appears to completely disregard the connection you share. Even so, at deeper levels, their soul continues to recognize you, remains energetically linked to you, and is influenced by your existence. This period is a profound test of faith and surrender. You must honor the energetic connection without expecting it to manifest in specific ways in the physical world. You need to cultivate the ability to love someone fully while letting them live their life freely without interference or expectation. This challenges every instinct of possession, control, and reciprocity. Deep love naturally inclines us to want to be with the other person, to be included in their choices, and to share their life. But twin flame love at the wrong time requires a more evolved kind of love. The capacity to love without possessing, care without interfering, and recognize a connection without demanding it. True love may not follow the path your ego desires. You learn that sometimes love means simply witnessing from a distance while the person you care for lives their life, makes their own choices, learns from mistakes, and grows through experience. They might need to marry the wrong person to understand what is truly right. They might need to build a life in one direction to realize it isn't aligned with their soul's purpose. They might go through shallow relationships to develop the capacity to appreciate depth when they are ready. During this stage, you also experience a very particular type of loneliness. It is not the ordinary loneliness of being alone, but the feeling of knowing someone exists with whom you could share an extraordinary connection, someone who isn't available to you. You carry the memory of being truly seen, understood, and recognized by another soul, while living in a world where most interactions feel superficial and lack that depth. You might try to connect with others, even build meaningful bonds, but a part of you always compares, longing for the unique frequency that only they awakened. This can leave you in a painful limbo. You are not with them, yet you cannot fully surrender to anyone else, knowing something far deeper is possible. The fourth sign is often the most elusive and hardest to describe, especially to those who have never experienced it firsthand. You begin to notice what feel like messages or confirmations from the universe, reassuring you that the connection is genuine and significant. Yet these signals never arrive alongside real-world changes that would actually make being together possible. Instead, they often appear as striking synchronicities, recurring numbers, meaningful songs, or unlikely encounters with people who mention them without knowing anything about the bond you share. At times, these confirmations show up through intense, symbolic dreams. In these dreams, you meet beyond the physical realm and experience a sense of unity that goes beyond material limitations. In other moments, you receive sudden, deep insights about why this connection exists, about the lessons it is teaching you, and about how it is accelerating your personal growth even in absence. Again and again, it feels as if the universe is reminding you that what you are experiencing is real, that it carries depth and meaning, and that you are not imagining or inventing these emotions. However, none of these spiritual validations turn into practical opportunities for reunion. You notice the sign, feel reassured, and regain confidence that the connection is authentic and purposeful. Then reality reasserts itself. Nothing has shifted externally. They are still unavailable. The circumstances remain unworkable. Distance or separation continues to be the only realistic option. This sharp contrast between spiritual confirmation and physical impossibility can become intensely frustrating. You may begin to wonder why the universe keeps drawing your attention to something you seemingly cannot have. You might question why these signs persist if they are not leading toward any tangible resolution. At times, it can feel as though you are being tested or even tormented by forces you cannot fully understand, bound to a connection that appears destined never to manifest in the way you want. What is essential to understand is this: these messages are not promises of a near-term union. They are not meant to suggest that you will soon be together. Instead, they serve as reassurance that you are not investing your life in an illusion. They confirm that this connection has a real purpose in your development, that it is contributing to your learning and inner growth, and that there is insight and value in what you are experiencing. Even though the process is painful, the message is clear: continue to trust what is unfolding. Continue to respect your feelings. Continue to take the lessons this experience offers, because each part of it is shaping you into who you are meant to become. A physical reunion may or may not ever occur. That outcome remains uncertain. What is certain, however, is inner transformation, provided you remain open to it. It is possible that this internal shift is the true intention behind the bond you share, rather than a traditional romantic outcome. These synchronicities also help keep you connected to a deeper, spiritual understanding of reality during a period when it would be easy to become disillusioned with love, fate, and meaning altogether. When you experience the heartbreak of meeting the right person at the wrong time, there's a real danger of closing your heart completely. You might convince yourself that true love doesn't exist, that everything is just chemistry and convenience. Yet, the subtle signs from the universe keep you from falling into this cynicism. They remind you that forces are at work beyond your perception, guided by a higher intelligence shaping events in ways you don't fully grasp. Maintaining this spiritual openness and faith in unseen dimensions of reality is vital for your growth, not only in relationships, but in every area of life. The fifth and final sign is the most paradoxical and often only becomes clear over time. The more you accept that you cannot be together now and genuinely release the need for it to happen, the more you evolve into the person capable of a conscious, healthy union with them if circumstances change. Conversely, the more you cling, force, or try to manipulate timing, the further you move away from becoming the person required for this connection to succeed. This paradox challenges everything we've been taught about love. Society tells us that true love means pursuing relentlessly, insisting, proving your devotion through constant effort. But twin flame connections at the wrong time demand the opposite, the ability to love deeply while letting go, to honor divine timing even when it hurts, and to trust a process you cannot control. When you reach this point, when you genuinely let go and turn your focus toward your own life, dreams, and personal growth, something remarkable happens. You shift from operating from lack to acting from abundance. You stop defining yourself through their absence and start defining yourself through your own purpose, essence, and wholeness. You develop interests, passions, and relationships that bring fulfillment independent of their presence. You become a complete, integrated person who loves that soul deeply, but does not desperately rely on them to feel whole or happy. This version of you, someone who loves without need, cares without attachment, and honors the connection without depending on its external manifestation, is exactly the person you must become for a conscious, healthy union if timing ever aligns. The paradox is that this transformation occurs through letting go, not through clinging. Every day you focus on yourself instead of obsessing over them, you grow stronger. Each time you feel the ache of absence, but channel that pain into creativity, personal growth, or service to others, you evolve. Every moment you resist sending a desperate message or forcing contact, you cultivate self-control, dignity, and inner strength. Gradually, without even realizing it, you begin to change at your core from who you were when you first met them. You grow wiser, more compassionate, stronger, and more complete. You cultivate a capacity to love that goes beyond need, possessiveness, or expectations. And if they reappear in your life, you'll be able to love them in a way that wouldn't have been possible before this transformation. But here's the crucial party. This transformation cannot be pursued with a hidden agenda of winning them back. If you're letting go strategically, improving yourself, all with the hope that they'll notice and return, then you haven't truly let go. That is just a more sophisticated form of manipulation. True surrender, the kind that genuinely transforms you, requires accepting that you may never be together. It means understanding that they might simply be a catalyst in your journey, not the final destination. Perhaps the purpose of this connection is to shape you into the person capable of attracting and sustaining conscious love with someone entirely different. When you can let go at this level, when you make real peace with the possibility that they may never belong to you in a conventional romantic sense, you access a freedom that can only be experienced, not described. You realize that you can hold them in your heart with love and gratitude while fully living your life, opening yourself to new connections, and creating meaning and beauty in the world. You learn that true love does not require physical presence or external validation. It can exist eternally within you as a frequency, as an elevated way of relating to life, and as an expanded ability to see the divine in every person and experience. Perhaps this is exactly what their soul came to teach you. Maybe your connection was never meant to lead to marriage, children, or a traditionally happy life together. Perhaps it was designed to teach you how to love in a way that transcends human limitations, developing a heart capable of loving all of humanity and all existence with the same intensity you feel for them. Maybe they were sent as a portal to a rare form of love, one that few ever experience and once felt, transforms you into someone who can see miracles where others see only the ordinary. If you recognize these signs in your life, if you realize you found the right person at the wrong time, you are on one of the most challenging and transformative journeys a soul can undertake. What you choose to do next will determine whether this experience breaks you or elevates you to levels of consciousness you never imagined possible. The biggest mistake you can make is seeing these signs as proof that you should wait, put your life on hold, or cling to hope for a future reunion. Passive waiting traps you in a space where you're neither truly with them nor fully free. You stay caught in an imagined future that may never happen, sacrificing the present, the only real moment you actually have. The wiser approach is to let this experience drive you to become extraordinary, awaken talents that have been dormant, heal hidden wounds, and expand your ability to love, create, and serve. Become so complete, so aligned with your purpose, that if they ever had the chance, it would be impossible not to choose you. And yet, you would feel equally fulfilled if they never did, because your life is already full of meaning, love, and purpose independent of them. This is the delicate balance you are meant to achieve, honoring the connection without clinging to the outcome, loving fully without needing desperately, keeping your heart open while living your life completely, and perhaps, when both of you have finished the journeys you were meant to take, having grown into the best versions of yourselves through every challenge and transformation, the universe may bring you together again. But this time, not as two incomplete people seeking wholeness, not as halves trying to merge, but as two whole individuals choosing consciously to create something extraordinary together. If that reunion occurs, you'll look back and be grateful for every moment of separation, because without that pain, without the necessary growth, you could never have developed the depth of love you are now capable of giving. If these words resonate with you, write in the comments, "I trust the universe's timing." This isn't empty hope, it's a real surrender to the process of transformation you are living. If you want to take this journey further, the link to my e-books is in the first pinned comment. Remember, twin flame, this experience is not accidental. You are being shaped into something extraordinary through the fire of impossibility. Keep trusting, keep growing, and keep loving without losing yourself. See you in the next video.